Welcome back to Life on Purpose. Today we're talking about movement. Movement is life because movement is such a bigger thing than just exercise or getting from point A to point B. The way you move your body is the way you create your life. So let's get into it. Let's talk about that. It's so important. And I feel like it gets overlooked or miscategorized so often. Most people think their life is being created by what's happening around them. What's happening at work or in their relationships, in their schedule. But your life isn't being created out there. It's being created from within you through your thoughts, through your nervous system, through your body. And what most people don't realize is that your body is not just responding to your life. Your body is participating in the creation of it. Your body is holding patterns. It's reinforcing identity, and it's shaping what you experience as your reality. So today I want to talk about movement, not as fitness, not as something you should do, but as a way to consciously shift the internal state that is shaping your life. But before we can use movement this way, we have to understand how most people are even thinking about it right now. Most people treat movement like it's a task. I got to go work out. I have to, right? Something you have to do, not something you actually enjoy most of the time, not always, but most of the time. It becomes this thing you're either staying on top of or falling behind on. I fell off the wagon. And your relationship to it is constantly shifting between feeling proud of yourself or feeling guilty that you didn't follow through. But movement isn't a task. It's not a to-do. It's the physical expression of who you're being. Movement is your body putting your internal state into form. Your body is putting your internal state into form. And your internal state is what creates your life. We say it all the time. You create from your state. So if that's true, the next question becomes, how is your body actually influencing that process? You can see this everywhere. When someone feels confident, they don't think about standing taller. They don't have to think about that. They just do. When someone feels anxious, their body naturally tightens and pulls inward and rounds down. They're not trying to do that. It just happens. When someone feels defeated, their bubble's been popped. Their energy drops before they even say anything. The body is always expressing something. The question is, are you aware of what it's expressing? Awareness is everything. Your body is constantly sending signals through posture, breath, tension, energy, and your brain uses those signals to decide how to feel or how to interpret what's happening and what actions to take. So if your body feels contracted, your brain interprets your environment as more threatening or overwhelming. But if your body feels open and supported, your brain interprets your environment as more manageable and possible. And you can see this play out in really simple, everyday moments. This is why the same situation can feel completely different depending on your state. Like you wake up one day, you feel regulated, you feel grounded, open, and everything just feels doable. Nothing feels outside of the realm of possibility. You answer messages, no problem. You move forward, you handle things. I love days like that, where adulting feels easy, and you feel like a badass adult. You just got it all done, no big deal. I love that feeling. But then on another day, nothing external has really even changed, but your body just feels different. You feel tight, your energy's low, your breath is shallow. I call those my menopause days. We all have them though, regardless of what season of life you're in. And so when you have a day like that and suddenly everything just feels like too much, are you going to get it done? What kind of a day are you going to have from feeling that way? It's the same life, different state, different experience completely. Because you're not just thinking your way through life. You're embodying your way through it. That's the becoming of, right? If you want something in life, you have to become the version of yourself that naturally has it or is naturally living it. That's the embodiment of it. And the state that your body is in becomes the filter through which your life is experienced, right? Like, rose-colored glasses. The state that you're in becomes the filter through which your life is experienced. So the path is the same path, but if you've got a rose-colored filter, it's a more beautiful path for you who has that filter. The version of you who lives the life you want is not just thinking different thoughts. That's part of it. But they are embodying a different state. So think about someone who trusts themselves completely. They don't overthink every decision. Their body doesn't go into panic when something feels uncertain. They might feel discomfort. They're still feeling uncertainty, but their body doesn't send a signal that would prevent them from moving forward. Their system can hold it. So they act anyway. Now, I want you to think about someone who doesn't trust themselves. Even small decisions can feel heavy. Their body tightens, their breath shortens. They hesitate. It doesn't happen. They pause. They procrastinate. They get delayed. It's the same situation, but it's a different embodiment. So therefore, there's a different outcome. I had a client who kept saying, I know what I need to do. I just don't do it. In fact, I've had so many clients like that. High functioning, high performing, know what to do, can't seem to get it done. And at first glance, it sounded like a mindset issue for this one in particular. But when we slowed it down, what we saw was this. Every time she went to take action, her body would tighten. So it's time to take action. Her shoulders would come forward. Her breath would get shallow. Her energy would drop. So even though she mentally wanted to move forward, her body was signaling, this is not safe. I cannot do this. And so she would stop. Once we worked with her body, simple movement, some breath work, we were able to create a sense of safety. Once we did that, she didn't need more motivation. She didn't need more discipline anyway. She was already disciplined. She just needed a different state. So simple movement, breath, right? And everything started to shift. Once she did that and it changed her state, the circumstance that followed was completely different. So right now, notice your body. Are you open or closed? Like really think about that. How often do you really check in with your body's openness or closed offness? Probably not very often. It's not something that we really think about. Like I said earlier, when we think about movement, we typically think about something you have to do. Like I have to work out. I've got to get my steps in. You're not really thinking about, okay, but what's my internal movement? What is my state? Which is the movement of energy, right? So are you open or are you closed? Is your breath deep or shallow? Do you feel energized or heavy? Because whatever your answer is, that is the state you are creating your life from. This is where movement becomes powerful. If your body is shaping your state, and your state is shaping your reality, then movement becomes a way to consciously influence that process. Intentionally move in such a way that that movement creates the desired outcome. Life on purpose. This idea, this practice can be incredibly simple. Like, for example, you're about to send a message you've been avoiding. If you stay sitting, shoulders forward, your breath is tight, sending the message feels hard. But if you stand up, open your chest, take a breath, sending the message suddenly feels more doable. Nothing changed externally. It's the same message going to the same place, but internally, everything shifted. And once that shifts internally, externally, everything is different. When you move your body with intention, you shift your internal chemistry and your nervous system in a way that your brain immediately recognizes, and your perception begins to change. Like when Dr. Wayne Dyer always used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. The way you change the way you look at things is by changing your state first and then looking at the thing. And if you change your state first, your perception of the thing is different. It's a different perception, a different perspective. You go from, this is overwhelming, or uncomfortable, heavy, scary, to, okay, I can handle this. This is doable. I can do hard things. It's not even that hard. And that shift might seem small, but it changes what you do next. Because if it's overwhelming, are you going to get it done right away? Or are you going to get trapped inside your mind, ruminating and overthinking and procrastinating because it's overwhelming? Or if you feel like, I can handle this. I can do this. This is doable. Then you'll do it. And it's the doing that creates the manifestation. All of the other things help you to take the action that you need to take to create the life that you want to live. So movement, internal leads to external. And it doesn't require a full routine either. Changing your state, you can do that in 1 minute. One little shift, one intentional change in your body. You can sit up straighter. You can take some deep breaths. You can pull your shoulders back, chest up. And that will shift everything. I worked with someone who felt completely stuck in her career. She kept saying, so stuck. And she had a good career. She was doing great, but she couldn't move past where she was. She kept saying, I don't know what my next move is. There was always a big lack of clarity. But what we saw was this. Every time she thought about making a move, her body went into stress. She would freeze, tighten, round, hold her breath. She would stop breathing. It was very much a stress response coming from the body first. Once she learned to shift her state and, first through movement and breath, and then think about what action to take next, what her next move was going to be, that's when she stopped freezing. That's when she started taking small actions, moving forward, and those small actions led to real change. She finally broke through the glass ceiling that she installed on herself in her own life. She busted through that ceiling and to this day is continuing to climb. And without all of that pain and struggle that she was feeling because of the fear and the stress. Instead, she changes her state, she feels amazing, and she takes action. And that's how you manifest what it is you're wanting to live or experience next or bring into your life. Because your life is created in the small decisions and actions that you take every day. Those decisions come from your state. Your state decides what you do next, not your mind. Your mind can decide to change your state, but how you feel will always be what inspires action or inaction. And so this is the difference between I'll do it later and let me just do this now. That one moment changes everything when you decide to move first, breathe first, change your posture first. This is why movement is a core part of what we teach, because it gives you direct access to your state. Movement is not something you do to improve your body. Movement is something you use to align your internal state with the life you want to live. If your body stays the same, your state stays the same. And if your state stays the same, your patterns stay the same too. This is when people say, I keep ending up in the same place. And they think it's their circumstances. But it's often the state they keep returning to. So instead of asking, how do I get more motivated? I want you to ask, what state am I in right now? And what would shift that? If we want to talk discipline, let's get disciplined about creating your state. Do that, about remembering to stand up straight, to breathe deeply, to bring your shoulders back, to lift your chin, and then decide what small step you should take next. So let's practice. Just take a minute right now. I want you to stand up, move your body, breathe deeper, and then ask yourself, if I were already living the life I want, how would I move right now? And act from that. This is the work of understanding that your internal state is influencing your external reality. And when you begin to change your state on purpose, you begin to create your whole life on purpose. So your body is not separate from your life. It is part of the system that creates it, a big part. So if you want to change your life, start with your state. Start with your body. Start now. This is the work of creating your life on purpose. And the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. We'll see you next time.